Last year, the band Hoobastank put out a request for people to cover their song The Reason for its 20th anniversary. And I don't know why, but it just popped in there that I needed to do a really dark, sinister, minor key version of the song. I recorded a performance of this, sort of a one-take thing, in my old bedroom that was mostly acoustic guitar bass, but then also had a sax solo in it because, you know, sax solo. I also wanted to put a sax solo in there because if you know, you know. Ever since I performed this, I've wanted to record a proper studio rendition, but I haven't had the time until now. And I figure it works out really well because I am celebrating my 20th anniversary writing songs as the Last Domino this year. Stay tuned all this week because I'm going to be posting behind the scenes videos of the writing, recording process, maybe the mixing process if it doesn't make my head explode. And then next week, December 12th, is when the song comes out, so you will get to hear how it all came together. Tomorrow, we start with Holding for Badass. Tomorrow, we set the vibe. When I recorded my video of this last year and put together the arrangement of the cover, I knew I wanted to start it out by staying faithful to the original in the intro that starts with the simple piano notes. But I didn't just want to strum them, I wanted to do something a little different with that. So what I decided to do is something I do in a couple of my songs, which is to find a fret that has some good harmonic resonance and just tap on it. Oh, we're in 3/4, by the way, because why not just throw another wrench in there? And then after this, of course, we have the guitar melody that comes in. But seeing as this is a minor key rendition, it's going to go... Here's the thing, though. Not only did I want to take this as a songwriting challenge, but also as a technique building challenge. So what I'm going to try to do is to do both of those tappings at the same time. So I'm running into the same problem that I did when I did my video last year, which is that the 12th fret for this note is fine, but it starts to get a little buried. I'm going to have to move up the fretboard with the tapping to ensure that these notes actually come out. And that's all while still doing the thing with the low E. Let's see. Seems like I'm going to have to do something which I don't like to do, and that is record separate takes of the two different ones, just to ensure clarity that all the notes come out. I just don't like to do that because I like to be as natural and realistic with everything I record, but this will sound better. Holding for Badass. As far as drums go, I'm going to record real drums. I have a sequence track all ready to go. That's the only thing I can't do here, so I'm going to go into a proper studio to record the drums. In the meantime, though, because of the percussiveness of the guitar, I wanted to add a little more of that natural percussiveness for kind of the vibe of the song. That is where this guy comes in. I'm gonna have to do something else that I don't like to do, which is pitch shifting. Again, I like for everything to be natural and realistic, but I've decided I want 4 of these drum tracks in here, and I don't want them all to sound the same, and I only have 1 drum. I'm gonna record all 4 tracks on this, and then I'm gonna pitch shift 2 of them down a whole step, I think. Okay, what do we got here? That's the root, that's the E. That's a second and the minor third. Jesus. Okay, so I can't pitch it down a whole step. If we pitch shift it down 1.5 steps, that's our melodic minor, harmonic minor. Anyway, it's the major 7th and the root. It'll work. Oh my God. This sounds great. You gotta hear this. All right, tomorrow's going to be the actual guitar parts, full acoustic and electric, so stay tuned. Going into the verse, I want to continue that kind of percussive mood that we have going from the tapping on the guitars in the intro to the hand drum stuff, and hold for badass. The way I'm going to record this is much like when I performed it last year, but it's just going to be even more jagged and staccatoed and almost... Yes, I did match my pick to my guitar. Time to go even harder for the second verse. Not that hard. Choruses are a little more traditional as far as just strumming. A little louder for second chorus. The bridge I'm going to leave as a surprise. I'm not going to give any of that away. For electric guitars, I pretty much just wanted to beef up the back half of this song. It's pretty much going to follow what the acoustic guitar is doing, from the bridge to the sax solo and then final chorus. Got a little bit of a fuzzy quality to it, only because I've been listening to a lot of shoegaze grunge bands lately, and so with that in mind, I'm going to do a little bit of this action. That is guitars finished, and now it's party time. For the sax solo, I'm pretty much going to replicate what I did in the performance video last year. I liked it a lot. I don't really feel the need to change anything. One thing I'm going to do is add a little end tag later on. And now for the little end tag later on. Something that I touched on back in part one was that I wanted to include a sax solo in this, not only because I've been playing sax since I was 9 years old and I always love to put sax solos in things when I can, but specific to Hoobastank, I wanted to do this as an homage to their original sax player. For those of you who don't know, before they got really big, they had a sax player named Jeremy Wasser in the band. I had first heard his work in the Incubus song Summer Romance, not knowing that he was in a band, and I loved that solo so much. The way it was crafted almost felt story-like to me, like it has an introduction, it has rises and falls, and then this big conclusion, then there's like an end tag on it. It was really refreshing and inspirational for me to hear a sax solo on a rock-adjacent genre back then when I was in high school that wasn't either ska or swing revival. Not that I had anything against those genres. I played in my high school concert and jazz bands, and I actually did play sax in a ska band in high school. But I always wanted to incorporate sax playing into a more malleable genre. So hearing that track and that solo was an absolute revelation to me. Then I come to find out that he is in this band called Hoobastank. And oh my God, talk about amazing sax arrangements and sax solos. Same thing, even with licks and melodies that he would do during verses and choruses. They just felt very, it's hard to explain. They felt very natural and improvised, but at the same time, very structured and very rehearsed. So that is a lot of the reason that, So yeah, including this sax solo in this song was definitely an homage to Jeremy Wasser, who was just a role model to me at that period in my life and who remains to this day to be one of my favorite all-time sax players. Bass day is one of my favorite recording days because I don't typically write bass parts for a song until I'm sat at my computer getting ready to record it. Because beyond just simple root notes, I like to add a lot of fills, I guess, kind of melodic interjections. and really make sure that no space is wasted. Rather than figuring it out beforehand, I like to see kind of all the elements of the songs that have come together already. So we have all our guitars, the hand drums, the real drums that are sequenced right now, and then the sax solo. Having said that, though, I'm actually going to start out with simple root notes. So most of the fills that I'm going to be doing bass-wise are during sort of the mini bridge that comes before the sax solo. I want to keep that part a secret. I don't want to give any of that away because I think it's really, really going to hit hard, and I want to save that for when you all hear the finished thing. Now to do the non-distorted bass during the distorted guitars. Then going into the final chorus, I am just going to add to the maelstrom of stuff that's going on with all the instrumentation, because why not? And then in the final chorus, I refuse to cut. Je refuse. That is bass done, and tomorrow we do drums. Drums in the deep. It's drums day. I love drums day. I swear I'm not wearing these for a fashion statement. I haven't been behind a kit in about 3.5 years. So without these, I would have some pretty gnarly blisters on my fingers after like 30 minutes. This will be a quick entry today because I don't really want to talk about the thing too much. I just want to do the thing and have the thing speak for itself. I do have my official Danny Carey sticks, so hopefully the pneuma will be flowing through me today. I am actually going to be challenging myself in a portion of this song with a lot of tom work and even some stuff like on the ride and the hi-hat kind of all at the same time. We'll see if I can get through it. I may have to dial it down and simplify it, but I'm really, really hoping I can pull it off. Here we go. I felt pretty good about that. Drums are done. Huge thanks to my friend JS for engineering the session at his studio. This is just coming along so well. I have a few little musical additions left, but tomorrow we do vocals. Time to get creepy, y'all. And the Raisinets. Oh, I miss Halloween. I'm not a perfect person. There are many things I wish I did not do. But I continue learning, a reason to start over new. And the reason is young tears, so I need you to hear. I found a reason for me to change who I used to be. A bit scraggly today. A reason for all that I do. And the reason is I'm keeping that part secret for now. I found a reason to show a side of me you didn't know. Sodomy. You can't unhear it. A reason for all that I do. And the reason is instrument tracking and vocals are all finished, so now it is time for what I like to call the garnish. This basically just means putting a few things here and there to kind of fill in the gaps or any other ideas I had during the writing or recording process. Just that little extra oomph to kind of finish the presentation. Usually this comes in the form of synths or maybe piano, even like mandolin or violin. For this I wanted to go a little more subtle since there's already a lot going on, so I'm just going to do a few little simple additions. Starting with turns out I have to dampen the attack a little bit, so separate hand's not as fun, but whatever. Moving on. Xylophone. Speaking of harsh attacks, I don't have any padded mallets, so I'm going to look around my room and see what I can find to pad this BI. This ended up working really, really well. I found a drawstring bag and a rubber band, and it just has this little thing, and now it looks like it's on a dark pilgrimage. I'm definitely going to have to work this into the artwork somehow. I think the chopstick technique Something I realized while I was tracking the rhythm guitars is that this arrangement has this chord in it. And the song is in 3/4, and when this chord comes in, it is the perfect opportunity to make a reference to another Hoobastank song called Running Away. Check this out. And then, so on top of the first part, holding for badass. It's never a bad idea to do your homework on a band or an artist, even if you're just covering one song, because you never know if you can add one of those little in references in there and just make it a little more special. Now, the next time that chord progression comes around, I am going to do something completely different because I love to keep listeners on their toes. So I'm going to try something that's really dissonant and weird, and I'm going to hope it fits. I feel like that's an At the Gates song. I think it's the instrumental interlude on Slaughter of the Soul. I'm gonna have to listen to that again to make sure I didn't rip anything off. Only the dead are smiling. All right, that's it. That's tracking done. I'm gonna mix this beast, and then I'm gonna shoot it over to my good friend Louisa, who is always my second pair of ears whenever I do anything musical, and she is gonna master it. Quick interjection from future John. I have attempted to mix this thing twice from scratch now, and I'm just still not quite getting there. There's some nasty frequencies that I can't quite get a lock on. So my friend Louisa, who I mentioned, Louisa Carvalho, she has been gracious enough to helm the mixing duties in addition to mastering. Of course, it's already sounding incredible because she's just much more experienced with this than I am. So yeah, huge thanks to Louisa Carvalho. Back to the past. And then you will all be hearing it in a week. December 12th is the drop, so please pre-save it. Thank you for following this behind-the-scenes series. I hope it has been interesting, enlightening, and please stay tuned to the Last Domino on streaming platforms and socials and things, because I have more music in the works. Yeah. I found a reason for me.